Hello students, this video is about the 18th century debate. There are different aspects of this debate. So one is whether there was change or continuity or decline or regional growth. So in this video I am going to discuss both the aspects. When it comes to the 18th century, it was a very diverse or eventful period in Indian history. The last important Mughal emperor Aurangzeb died in 1707 and his successors were not strong enough to hold the empire together. So we see disintegration starting. At the same time, different new states started emerging. So in East Bengal, autonomy was declared, and at the same time, Awadh also started acting independently. In Deccan area, Hyderabad, Nizam of Hyderabad started emerging as an independent state. So amidst all these developments, the Europeans were also present in Indian subcontinent. So the English and French were present in entire India, whereas Portuguese were limited to southern India and parts of western coast. So these companies were also started holding territorial power. So these were also challenges to the Mughal authority. The English company won Diwani of Bengal in 1757, which was the most important development, because after that they started becoming territorial colonizer. So different historians have given their opinion on the developments that were happening in the 18th century. So we can categorize these researches broadly into these four themes: that whether there was change introduced by the British colonization, or we see continuation of political and economic patterns. At the same time, the other argument says that there was regional growth because the new states like Awadh and Hyderabad were emerging, and the other opinion says that there was decline because the Mughal empire was declining. So there are different opinions. So these four categories are just broad categories of opinions on the 18th century in India. So that doesn't mean that there are no other opinions available. So when it comes to continuity versus change, one of the earliest historians to talk about this aspect of change is Irfan Habib. Irfan Habib argued that the Mughals had a complex administrative organization where they run their fiscal administration around Jagirdari system, and as the Jagirdari system declined, the Mughal empire also started declining. Jagnath Sarkar also talks about change. He says that because of the policies of Aurangzeb, Mughal empire declined. Ahmad Ali also argues that there was Jagirdari crisis which led to decline of the Mughal empire. Jatish Chandra argues that the decline and downfall of the Mughals was because of structural flaws in the Jagirdari system. John Richards, however, says that it was not Jagirdari system, but it was because there was presence of usable Jagirs, and Jagiri was not a problem. So John Richards' argument does not go with the arguments offered by Irfan Habib or Athar Ali. So he says that there was enough Jagir in 18th century. So there was no Jagirdari crisis. P.J. Marshall argues that there was more continuity in the form of evolution than revolution in India in the 18th century. Places such as Delhi and Surat started declining because of the decline of the Mughal empire, but we see emergence of new urban centers and new places that served as port to the empire, to the British empire, which includes Bombay. So P.J. Marshall argues that there was more of continuity when it comes to the economy than change. Athar Ali argues that the Mughal empire declined because of the expansion of the British power in India. Amidst all that, the early nationalist economic historians argued that colonial intervention was disastrous for Bengal, and it ruined the economy. So we have different opinion. So includes opinion of Amir Bakshi, who says that there was deindustrialization in Bengal after 1757. So this is the early view on the economy of Bengal. And Rajat Datta argues, he is a later revisionist, he argues that it was not a sudden change in the economy. So it was not that because of colonialism suddenly the economy changed or something decisive happened. So he refutes that. So we have to keep in mind that there are different opinions available on the continuity and change aspect of the polity and economy. The other opinions that can be categorized into this dark age or decline versus economic growth. Here we see that the earliest writings look at the Mughal decline and resultant decline in trade and commerce. So Jadunath Sarkar, again we can mention him. He is one of the early nationalist historian, and he is basically an expert in literature, but we also call him historian. Jadunath Sarkar said that it was because of Aurangzeb's policies that the Mughal Empire declined and the dark age in Indian history started. Marxist and revisionist historians oppose such views and argue that there was emergence of regional states. So one revisionist historian, Christopher Bailey, along with Sanjay Subramaniam, argues that a small group of portfolio capitalists emerged. They were involved in both military and trading activities. Prasannan Pathasarthi is another historian who specializes in economic history, and he has done extensive studies in South India, and he says that South Indian ruling class was also involved in trade. So we cannot say that there was decline of political structure or economic structure. There was economic growth at regional level. Muzaffar Alam and Andrew Wink have looked at the complex process of decentralization after the Mughal decline. The landed elites or the jagirdars started declaring sovereignty. Alam gets criticized by the revisionist historians who points out the growth of Awadh after Mughal decline. So in general, what we can say is that the opinions that we categorize as revisionist are not uniform, and they often contradict each other. What is crucial to understand is that the revisionist historians talks about something new, something that offers a fresh perspectives on the economy and regional polities, and also on central polity. So these views, that we categorize as revisionist views, they delineates the decline or dark age theory. So they says that it was not exactly decline, because later in the in recent time, in 1990s, in 2000s, there are historians who have studied art and literature and culture, and then they says that there was growth happening in different regions, in Himachal Pradesh, in Punjab. So we see emergence of different forms of art, different forms of paintings, so even in South India. So that is why it will be very problematic to say that 18th century was a phase of dark age. In fact, there was growth happening at regional level in different aspects of life. So those who are interested in reading this topic can look at these two basic readings. These are two edited volumes by one by P.J. Marshall, 18th Century Evolution or Revolution, and the other one is 18th Century Indian History. Thank you.